Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be mixing some heavy guitars. We're going to see the full chain on this track.
Awaken sleeper, come out of your grave. Each night I hear you calling out my name.
Alright, so today I'm going to do a walkthrough through the entire mix change of the rhythm guitars and lead guitars for this track here. We're going to be working with two sets of rhythm guitars, two sets of octaves, and one lead guitar. We're going to see the tone selection and the post-processing for all of them. Alright, so let's start with the rhythm guitar tone. Alright, so the main tone comes from archetype Nolly from Neural DSP. I use the preset A rate, but I tune it just a tiny bit. As you can see, these are the settings. You can copy them if you want to. The main key here is I took away all the cap simulation because I used some external impulse responses. So for both of them, I use GGD's Cali Oversized, and I use these three ones right here. I use two up front, one with SM57, one with R121, and then a massive one with KM184. I think this is the preset perfect. And then I added the upfront with the R121. I'm going to show you just the bare amp sound. Quite ugly. But then you add the cabs. Then the octaves. I used I think this is the same archetype, Nolly. These are the settings, right? Quite a lot of gain, mostly on the mid and high end. Again, with no cap simulation, I use GGD's Oversized Cali again. In this case, I use upfront again with SM57 and the detailed one with KM184. This is how it sounds on their own. If you combine both of them, now this is how it sounds with all the processing. Let's remove this and then add it one by one. So this is just the tone from the archetypes. So first step, always cleaning up. So we took away everything under 100, took away a tiny bit around 386 because it was quite boxy. Then the magic frequency for electric guitars, distorted guitars, which is 4K. And a tiny bit of 3.5, and then a tiny boost with a big bell around 1,000, 1K. This cleans up especially the higher frequencies, which are quite annoying. Then we open up this one, which is some saturation, as we did. If you check the one with the bass before, we did the same one with this one. This is great for bass and guitars. And then some distressor, kind of to tighten everything up and give it a little boost as well. As you can see, we're not going for much gain reduction. And then I use the black box by Plugin Alliance. Now I use this one to push the mid a little bit and to add some saturation to make it more aggressive. So this is how it sounds with and without. Now the problem is, by using this and the compressor, we reintroduce some of the ugly frequencies that we took away. So we need to make another cut around 90 this time, and we need to do some cleanup. Let's do before and after. Now, little side note, if you remember the bass walkthrough, you will remember that at the end of the chain, this area around between 5 and 501K was lacking a little bit. That is because I tried to push that area with the guitars, so they blend together really well. I leave this area for the bass, I leave this area for the guitars, and this one they share together a little bit. So that way they blend together, because like I always like to say, the tone from the guitar comes from the bass. All right, so in this case, we have a nice tone here. to combine it with the bass. Now you can see the track spacer here, which is the last one on my chain. That is because it's sidechained to the vocals. Because I want, when vocals are present, I want to cut a little bit to make some room for them. So I need to push the volume or overcompress or anything like that. Just making a dynamic cut here is more than enough. It's not much in the end, so let's check it out.
Awake and sleeper, come out of your grave. Each night.
And then we have the leads. The tone for the lead comes again from Neural DSP's Noli archetype. This is one of my own presets. You can see here 5150, not that different from the octaves. In this case, I felt like leaving the cap simulation because why not? Sounds fine, sounds good. And this is the post processing I did, got in around 100. Then the magic number 4000, and then around almost 600, 5.8, just to clean up all the top end a little bit. And then pretty similar to the other one, which it is some saturation, some compression, just a tiny bit. And then this a bit for the character and a bit also for EQ. We're not doing that much. We're doing a tiny bit of a high shelf and cutting around 7 and around 322. And then we are obviously sending everything to a bus. I have a delay, and then I have the reverser just to give you some extra sauce. And then just in case, doing a little boost and cutting and cutting. And then I'm sending this aux to another aux channel with some reverb. I didn't do it on the same one because I'm also sending some separate stuff into this reverb aux channel. So this is how the lead guitar sounds. Now, what about the clean guitars? We have two different sets of clean guitars because they're doing different things and they sound quite different. The first one is not really clean, it's more like a post clean. This is how it sounds on its own. Just a tiny bit of distortion. This is bound, so I don't remember the preset I used, but it was again Noli archetype. Processing wise, we have EQ to cut around 100 and a little bit around 500, just to clean up a little bit. And then we have again saturation through all of my guitars and basses. Distressor, just a tiny bit of compression. Let's hear it. This is normally is doing 2, almost 3, and then up to 6 when I'm hitting the low end note. And then some EQ, SSL again, to keep consistent throughout the entire mix. Just a tiny bit on the top end. And then I'm sending it to 2 different buses. The first one we already saw, which is the number 24, which is this one. It's like a 8th plug. Let me show you. And then number 24 to give it some depth. And then we have the clean guitars during the bridge. For this one, I use this one. This is my own clean preset. I left the cabs, and what I did was, before I bounced it, I took away the reverb and the delay because I wanted to process everything and then add those reverbs and those delays because I really love them, but it would get in the way of the entire processing. So first things first, we get EQ to clean up until 128 and then around 242. Then we have some more saturation and SSL, just a tiny boost on the shelf. And then I used again the Noli archetype. In this case, I took away the amp simulation, took away the caps. I only used it for the effects, to be honest. Nothing here. EQ is off. All I wanted to use are the effects because I really love this delay and this reverb. So I wanted to use them. I wanted to make this part really huge, really big. So I used 2 sets of reverbs. this one first. It sounds like this. Then when you play all together, it sounds like this. And let me show you how all of that sounds with no vocals, just to hear all the instruments. This is mostly meant to be in the background to add some cushion, some depth to the entire track. All right, everyone, thank you very much for joining me on this guitar walkthrough. We saw rhythm guitars, we saw lead guitars, and we saw clean guitars. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment with any question or suggestion for upcoming videos if you want. Thank you very much, and see you next time.